1.
I want to thank you guys so much for giving me this PLC time today, and I hope you find it meaningful. I'm going to talk about some sight word interventions that I've researched and tried in my own classroom. So we can go ahead and get started. Here's our table of contents. You guys have the meeting agenda you can look at. I'm going to discuss the vision statement that I have, a problem I found in my classroom, some data that I analyzed, an article that I found to be really beneficial that gave me some intervention ideas. I tried them out. I'll share with you the results that I found and the reflection that I have and some next steps that I hope to do, and I also have some resources I want to share today. So here's the agenda you guys have. It has kind of outline of how long I think each thing will take, and feel free to take some notes and let me know if you have any ideas too that you'd like to share with me. So here's my vision. My goal is to create a classroom environment where each child feels safe, valued, and challenged to learn at their greatest potential. I teach using powerful mini lessons followed up with targeted, differentiated, and engaging small group instruction to ensure that every child's needs are met. And that is truly what I try to do every single day here at Burns. So I looked at my reading class. As you guys know, I have the lowest readers in first grade. And I tried to see what do I feel like is something that's truly holding them back. And I felt that their inability to read sight words is making it impossible for them to read accurately and comprehend text. Every single time I read with a student, I was really seeing that they were stumbling over those simple words. And so I decided to assess this. I took the 25 most common sight words in the English language, and I assessed them one-on-one. I had 18 students. And here is the results that I found. Right here, this was on September 20th. This is a chart to show each student, and I just numbered them off, and the amount of words that they were able to recognize. The class average was about 51%, so they were able to average to read about half of the 25 sight words, which I was really surprised about. And only one student was able to read 25 words, and about 7 students were not even able to read 10 words or less. And I even had a couple that knew, I had 3 that knew less than 5 words. And I mean, these are those easy words. This is a serious problem in my classroom. If they can't master these 25 sight words, they are not going to be able to read fluently. So I felt like this was a really needed problem that I needed to address and to help. So I researched some articles, and I found this one. It's called Strategies to Teach Sight Words in an Elementary Classroom. And in this article, it kind of introduced the importance of sight words. It introduced some different methods. And so I chose one of the strategies, and that was the traditional flashcard method. I chose this because it's a simple thing to do, and it's something I've seen used a lot. So I feel like it would be really interesting to see, is this actually a good way to help teach them? So what I did was, I took literally a ring just like this with note cards. I wrote each word on a note card and I put it on a ring. And I stood before the kids just like I am right now, and I showed them the word, they repeated it back, and then I flipped it to each word. And I did that every single day for 5 days. And if they knew the word, I told them to read it with me. So some of them would be reading it with me, and some of them would be repeating it back to me. So after 5 days, I tested the students again, and here were the results that I found. 12 out of the 18 students mastered at least one more sight word. So about 67% of my kids, this intervention at least helped them get one more. For 6 students, the intervention was not effective. They did not learn any more sight words. So I felt like I had overall good results, but really not as effective as I'd hoped. In 5 days, they really did not know that many more words. And off to the side here is what I put their gains were after 1 week of this intervention. So I tried to think of how can I tweak it. I went back to the article, and I felt like the biggest thing is this intervention I was using, the students were not engaged. You know, it was boring. A lot of them have focus issues anyway, and a lot of them were looking away. It was not really that engaging. So my second intervention I tried was to create a PowerPoint. I made a PowerPoint, and these are the actual slides from it. And I then put the word, and I made it have an animation, so like the word would fly up on the screen. And then I added a picture where it was appropriate. There are some words that I couldn't have a picture, like the word in. You know, I could have, there were just a few words I couldn't put a picture with, but most of them I was able to. And this idea was from the article on page 41. It said, picture-supported teaching methods utilize the pictures, and they're generally a direct illustration of the word, and it really helps for those visual learners. So I did this for 5 days, showed them the PowerPoint each day. I did notice they were a whole lot more engaged. So here is the results after 5 additional days of this. What I have off to the side is how many words each student gained. All students, but except for the one who had already mastered all the words, mastered at least another additional word. And 7 students actually learned 5 new words. I was very surprised when I was assessing them the second time how many additional words that the students knew. I really was. The average percentage correct was 61%, which at the beginning it was only 51%. And that was just in 2 weeks. So overall, I felt like this was a very effective strategy. And I even have several students who are really close to mastering all of the 25 first sight words. So it was really encouraging to me, and I know it's going to pay off in their reading day to day. So my next steps, I realized I need to incorporate more sight word exposure for my students. Every single day they need to be seeing these words. I'm going to be sending a list home to the students that I can give you guys too, that I hope that the parents will practice with them, make the flashcards at home, things like that. But I also found some other ideas that I'm going to try to do. I have a song here, and I've sent you guys the PowerPoint so you can click on it, and it does the words to a song. So hopefully the musically gifted students will be able to learn by that way. I also am planning on making individual cards for my students based on the words they don't know. So they're not looking at all the words every day, but they're looking at the words that they don't know, they still haven't mastered. There's tons of games out there on Teacher Pay Teacher and all kinds of websites, and I'm planning on using that and incorporating it in some of my centers, and I'll send those to you all as I find the really good ones. And my article that I found also had some suggestions that I'll share with you. There's also a Sight Words That Stick program, and it's something like this where it goes through a story of the word, and it makes it into like a meaningful way to remember it. Like this is the word help, so it's like has the shark here and a person, and I'm going to have my assistant during reading centers read the story to them and go over it to a new word each day. So hopefully that'll put some meaning behind some of the words. And I'm also going to incorporate some movement and dance, like maybe have them trace the word in the sky, or do like some sort of movement to help those kinesthetic learners learn these words. So any extra resources I find in my research, I will definitely send to you guys, along with the PowerPoint that I used last week in teaching the students. So here is the works cited page, and I was wondering if anyone had any additional questions. Okay. So thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope you found this time meaningful as I did in the things that I've learned. So thank you.